The Colorado Avalanche have long been in the running for best player, best forward, best defenseman in the NHL with Nathan MacKinnon and Cale Makar. But this year, they also might be getting into the conversation of having the best goalie tandem in the NHL. Avs win over the Chicago Blackhawks 1-0. This is the first time in Avalanche history they've shut out both ends of a back-to-back, by the way. Not the first time they've had consecutive shutouts, but it is the first time in back-to-back days. So yeah, this isn't just, hey, a good little stretch here. The Avs are actually setting some records within their own categories. In case you forgot, this is their 9th win in a row, by the way. The record there is 12, so they're approaching that pretty quickly too. But what I'm talking about here is not the best goalie in the league. I think it's pretty easy to say the Avs do not have the best goalie in the NHL right now. If you wanted to, you can make an argument that at least this season, Wedgewood has been a top 5 goalie so far. Spencer Knight in this game, you can make an argument he's been the best. I think Shesterkin the other day against New York is in that argument too. And now with Hellebuck hurt, he probably isn't anymore, but certainly at one point you can make an argument for him. So the Avs don't have the true best goalie in the league, but when you put their tandem together, they do have some of the best goaltending statistics. And I know this is cheating a little bit because Mackenzie Blackwood has only played 4 games, but he did throw that shutout the other night. Wedgewood follows that with a shutout of his own, and the Avs are rocking. As a team save percentage in all situations, the Avs have a .916. The next best team in the NHL is Chicago, who the Avs just beat, at a .910. There are only 10 teams in the NHL that have a combined save percentage over .900, and most of those ride off of one high-end goaltender, and that's about it. Both of Colorado Avalanche's goaltenders have save percentages above .910 right now, and there is at least some data for Mackenzie Blackwood that he should be able to maintain something like that. Wedgewood, on the other hand, is probably playing a significant portion above his station, but while it's working, just keep running it. I've gone on long enough about the goaltending. Wedgewood pitches a 22-save shutout in this game. Let's actually talk about the game. Very much a tale of 2 different periods. First period for the Avs, real bad. The Avs play basically 0 minutes of effective hockey in the first period. They get outshot 2-11 by Chicago and fail to muster anything dangerous while giving up a decent amount. Wedgewood thankfully makes all the saves he needs to make, and Chicago is not able to crack that egg in what ends up being by far the worst period of the game for the Avs. And I think there was a little bit of a mental reset here from Colorado. You go back to the Nashville game where they really didn't play all that well in any of the 3 periods, and you're talking about 4 periods now where the Avs have been essentially bested at 5-on-5, at least mechanically in the way the hockey was played. This team's too good at 5-on-5 for that to continue. They acknowledge that, they go out, and they completely dominate in the second period. The Avs outshoot Chicago 19-1 in that period. Not even remotely close. Even with the domination Chicago had in the first, the Avs blow past that and then some. They are, however, playing against what is arguably the best goaltender in the NHL, so the Avs aren't solving Spencer Knight very much, or at all, except for one specific instance. This leads to some disappointment even in the dominant section of this game for Colorado, as they fail to score on multiple power play opportunities in the second period. Power play is a continuing spiraling problem. It still hasn't cost the Avs, but it's going to eventually if they don't start to figure this out. They've tried giving it a new look over the last couple of games, somewhat out of necessity because of injured players, but also somewhat to get it to look better. And while at times it looks okay, it's not looked better enough. Obviously, it didn't score. Despite the brutal first period, though, the second period and enough of the third period was good enough that the only line for the Avalanche that ended up on the wrong side of possession at 5-on-5 was their third line. And keep in mind, that's a third line with Parker Kelly playing up on it because of the guys the Avs are missing. And here is where the difference is between the Colorado Avalanche and the Chicago Blackhawks. I say difference. There are multiple differences, of course. But the Avs are a team that have the experience. They played through these situations a lot. They know what it takes to win. They know when they need to turn the wick up even more and go all in on a game. Yes, Chicago was the better team through the first period, but they didn't break through and find the goal to really get rewarded for their play. The Avs just kept pounding in the second period until eventually it finally broke. Great fourth line hockey here. The Avs reset a possession, Makar gets it up the ice, and they just tip it in, go get it, go chase after it. Now, I don't know how much of this is a great read by Tristan Nielsen and how much of this is a just right guy in the right spot, but he gets the puck sent right to him by Spencer Knight. He's able to collect it. While he does take his time with it, he knows what he wants to do with it, and that is shoot the puck. As the Avs crash the net, they try to create chaos, he eventually gets the shot off, and Chicago is not covering the most dangerous player on the ice. These are fourth liners. Yeah, you gotta prevent them from getting to this scary area, but someone probably should have kept an eye on Cale Makar. Drew a lot there. That looks a bit silly. Makar gets to this one, puts an absolutely perfect shot on it, and that is the goal of the game. It took a near-perfect shot off of a rebound to solve Spencer Knight tonight, and that is the only goal that gets scored in the game. It should come as no surprise that it comes off of the stick of a player like Cale Makar. What does come as a surprise, though, is the assist goes to Tristan Nielsen, one of the call-ups in this game for the Avs. His first NHL points, and a pretty quality game. Yeah, he played under 7 minutes tonight, and that's kind of going to be the role. The Avs are too deep for some of these call-ups to really work their way into a real role permanently in the NHL. Gavin Brindley made sure of that, although it does sound like he's going to be hurt for a little while. But the Avs are finding effective hockey out of what is essentially their 15th or 16th forward. And at the end of the day, it's the Avs superstars that get it done where Chicago's does not. Not McKinnon versus Bedard. McKinnon didn't produce a point in this game. Cale Makar is the difference maker, a guy that Chicago just doesn't have anybody like. As an individual, Makar had 6 shot attempts, 3 scoring chances, and 1 high-danger chance, as well as 3 actual shots on goal. Compare that to Connor Bedard, who only had 3 shot attempts and 1 shot on goal in this game. Those are 5-on-5 numbers, to be clear. There were more attempts on power plays for both sides, but I'm looking at 5-on-5 here. 2 factors there. 1, it's easy to forget that Cale Makar is a defenseman. And 2, the Colorado Avalanche did a great job of limiting Chicago's best player in Bedard. That mostly fell to Devon Toews, who did a fantastic job just smothering Bedard all night. Bedard, no scoring chances individually and no high danger chances by himself. He was only on the ice for 2 high danger chances from Chicago. And that's in nearly 17 minutes of 5-on-5 time. I know I'm talking about the Avs potentially having the best goalie tandem in the NHL in this game, but it's a synergistic team-wide thing. The Avs have great goaltending right now this year, but they also have great defense. Admittedly not great last game against Nashville where Blackwood balled out, but they made Wedgewood's job not the easiest in the world, but certainly a good amount easier tonight by playing quality defense against Bedard, by only giving up 22 shots total in this game. That story goes both ways though, right? Wedgewood picked up the first period when the Avs were struggling to generate anything offensively. He did his job, and then the team picked him up for the rest of the game. I know this video is a lot more talking head than highlights, but that's just kind of the reality of a 1-0 game where Chicago really didn't even have that many good scoring chances in general. And while last game's review was short and sweet because there wasn't a whole lot to talk about other than the fact that Mackenzie Blackwood was great, this one, I think, does have a lot of that minutia. We've talked about Makar and Toews. We've talked about the goaltending. We talked about, despite a bad first period, the majority of the Avalanche actually played a pretty decent game. And it's just an absolute treat to watch an Avalanche team that knows how to find its ways to winning. A dominant second period is, in some ways, the Avs recognizing this is a Sega Baba game, and the Avs aren't going to have the greatest legs in the third. They knew they needed to break through to give themselves a lead to have a chance to win this game. That's what they do, and then they lock it down in the third period. At a 9-game win streak, we are fully in enjoy the ride territory. There's no doubt about that one. This is more so the Avs beating the teams that they are supposed to. And a season-long goal differential of plus 38 shows you that, yeah, they're doing a good job of beating those teams, even if it has taken great goaltending in these last few. I'll leave it there. That is the end of this game video review. Thank you for watching. Head on over to thednvr.com for all of our coverage. I am Rudo, and I want the Avs to win 13 games in a row, but I don't really want to bleach my hair.